Or, you know?
Recognize what he just said. He started out saying, you know, when you're in the conscious state, get rid of the idea that you're walking around in a conscious state, as if it's like a stable thing. We're living subconsciously all the time. Subconscious mind is where all our patterns are sustained and activated. Moment by moment, you're moving from one reactive pattern to another. It's entirely subconscious. What we call consciousness is this kind of really flimsy, keeping track kind of awareness that's like saying, this is me, this isn't me, and has a little story going. But in terms of actually how you're functioning, it's the degree of distress indicates the degree to which it's entirely just subconscious anchored states being triggered. And there's no real control. You know, if you have a lot of emotionality in your daily life, that's not consciousness. That's subconsciousness. Emotionality is the triggering of chronically regressed states. You know, we could define real consciousness as being when you're truly in adult consciousness, which means you're fully aware of your in-the-moment autonomy as a being with full self-respect, and you don't have a constant inner dialogue stream going about who you are and your personal history. Your mind is quiet, and you're just seeing the world as it is and as it's changing moment by moment, and you're responding with clarity and a genuine movement towards beneficial actions and outcomes for yourself and others. We could define that as being a genuinely conscious state. But if you're moving from one sense of agitation and emotionality to another, you know, and what moves you through your daily life is emotionality comes up, and then you seek for a way to calm it down or medicate it, like whether it be, you know, a big piece of cake or going and grasping onto a person or counting your money, you know, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You know, it's all just trying to manage this chaos. That's not consciousness. That's triggering, constant triggering of chronically regressed states. And those are not your emotions. That's, you know, that's the other, we talked about that extra layering of confusion where your so-called conscious self is claiming those emotions as being yours in present time, when they're not. Those emotions are not really about present time at all. They're about the past. And another way we've talked about that is that the false conscious self is always making mountains out of molehills. The real present time conscious self, the real adult conscious self, doesn't make mountains out of molehills. When you're actually in adult consciousness, there are no mountains. There's only molehills. Life is quite workable. Because life doesn't threaten you. It doesn't threaten your sense of self-worth. That's part of the definition of being in genuine adult consciousness, is that there is no issue of self-worth. And self-worth isn't just about I'm valuable. It includes the intuition that you transcend bodily death. So the survival instinct is not an issue. It's functioning, but there's no desperate emotionality attached to it in terms of your value as a being. And it's in that sense then that everything is just a molehill. Even suffering is a molehill. Even dying is a molehill, because you have the intuitive recognition that you're not going to die, that the body mind that's going to die was a temporary set of circumstances from the beginning. And you don't invest anymore. You know, once you've attained genuine adult consciousness, you no longer invest a lot of your creative energy and passion in maintaining the fiction that you're never going to die, which is sort of implicit in our typical storylines, where we numb ourselves to our mortality, and we act as if we have all the time in the world. We act as if we're indestructible. We act as if we're going to live forever. We have all the time in the world to waste. And you know, and we flip immediately from one extreme to the other. We can be at the extreme of the attitude of being immortal, indestructible, and arrogant, and you know, completely lacking in gratitude, taking everything for granted, being, you know, life owes me everything, and then if something doesn't go the way we want, we go from that kind of aloofness to extreme reactivity and offense and freaking out. I'm not getting what I need. Just wham, wham, you know. None of that's conscious mind, according to any useful definition that I would, you know. It's much better to recognize that that is a manifestation of triggering of anchored, chronically regressed states. It's all in the realm of delusion, built around a fundamental fragility and hollowness about who I really am. You know, like I just can't take life circumstances not being the way I want them to be. That's making a mountain out of molehills.